of Ramadan. So we say Ramadan Kareem to our Muslim brothers. I'm Moses Humphrey. I welcome you to the show this morning. It's VOP this morning. And yes, we do have a lot to talk about today. Well, I have my colleagues here as well.
I'm Fina Okechukwu. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. How are you doing? I just
Very well,
I
thank
love
you.
The blue.
Thank you.
I love the blue, the jacket, the tie, and everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whatever makes you like a blue, you should like a gray. But then
I do. I actually was coming to that. You know, I was smiling towards you. Like, I love the combination.
David in.
Very good morning to you. My name
well.
is David Edwin. What a time, what a beautiful moment. And yes, another starter of another beautiful week. And definitely this morning, we have so much to serve you.
Oh, yes, we do. A beautiful moment indeed. But the hearts of certain people bleeds as we speak. Talking about parents of those children that were abducted last week. We heard that efforts were being made to get them released. We also heard that they would be released before the Ramadan starts. Well, last I checked, I think about 28 had been, I don't know, escaped or released. I don't know which one to use. Because if you look at the papers, which of course we'll be going through shortly, the particular paper, you know, tagged them escapees. And I have a problem with the fact that some of their pictures were, you know, brandished on the cover page of the paper. Oh, well. We'll be delving into the papers very, very shortly, just to let you know what we'll be talking about afterwards. Yeah.
Ababio's bickering at Tumibe's funeral, and he was actually bickering with Fubara, the governor of River State.
Okay, that's one thing we'll be talking about today.
Yes.
Yes.
And I also have presidency refutes Senator Ningi's claim of budget pardon. These are the things we'll be looking at this morning. With Bishop Onaiko Oni of Ife backs transition to parliamentary system of government.
All right, interesting conversation that we'll be having this morning, of course.
Well, these are the topics we'll be talking about this morning. Before we begin, would like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Well, we'll be diving into the newspaper just about now, but that would be after this quick break. Stay with us.
All right. All right, welcome back. So now let's dive into the papers, and we have joining us, of course, in the studio, Mr. Akin Fatunke, who is a communications consultant, an oil and gas expert, and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Moses. Good morning, Fina. And good morning, David. Good morning, Nigerians. It's a pleasure to be here.
A pleasure to have you indeed. And Ramadan Kareem, I know you're not a Muslim, but that still, that still sits well.
Indeed, Ramadan Kareem to all our Muslim faithfuls all over the country and all over the world. Thank you for having me again.
All right then, so let's dive into it now. I'll be starting off with the Daily Trust. On the cover page of the Daily Trust, we have these headlines here. Banner headline here reads, Parents of abducted Kaduna students cry out for help. That was the one I was talking about earlier. Riders, we watched bandits shepherd our kids to the bush. Escapees recount near-death experience. My brother shot dead trying to save his siblings. And right underneath that one, the pictorial we have there are those of some of these escapees. Some are really young, two of them actually, really young, and their pictures, names and pictures put out there. I don't, this doesn't sit well with me that, well, this boy looks like he's about 15 or thereabout. And, you know, the picture is right there with his name given. I don't know, how does this sit with you?
Very unpretty. It's not smelling like rose at all, Moses, and it cannot. For every parent, even if you don't have a biological child, the spirit, the normal Nigerian affinity for taking care of younger ones seems broken, continues to be jinxed, continues to face exactly the way we face. I hope in the spirit of Ramadan and the spirit of true faith and Christianity, I'm just wondering maybe I should stop when I make my comments to say that as we speak, something similar is happening.
Oh, yes.
You know, I always make that point, and the reason why I make that point is that the state, you know, the nation is incapable of providing security to lives and property. And this
It almost
is
feels like the threats given to bandits and kidnappers isn't holding water, like they are not perturbed.
They are not perturbed because hand in hand, hands has woven into gloves into the security situation that we have in this country. At one point in time, we hear it's politicians. At another point in time, we hear it's the locals. At another point in time, we hear it's the up to the army. We are divided and quartered in different parts because we see the Nigerian state with different prism. And Nigeria has become so unwieldy. What continues to bind us together, including religion, is not been torn into pieces. Was it Shakespeare that said in Macbeth that confusion now has broken up and stolen thence the peace and the tranquility that should be ours? Well, Moses, communications, and I dare say I see that a lot with Voice of the People. Your heart's mind goes out to the helpless parents.
Oh, yes.
Our heart's mind goes on to the past 16 years of people who are still in the dungeon. I am certain many have been wasted, you know. Few are recovered, and then and the beat, like they say, goes on.
Unfortunately so. Not a good beat indeed. Anyway, let me take some more headlines from the Daily Trust. On top of the nameplate, right, I beg your pardon, on top of the banner headline, we have 2 months after EFCC presidency silent on Beta Edu, NSIPA boss. FG denies budget padding, false Mingi's allegations. Ramadan begins today, Sultan. Right beside the pictorial there, workers trapped as 5-story building collapses in Anambra. All African Games, Nigerian female wrestlers scoop 6 gold medals. 59 doctors resign in Nasarawa, alleged poor welfare. And, right at the bottom there, we have Yari's annual Ramadan feeding program benefits 250,000 households. All right. So, these are the headlines from the Daily Trust. Will there be any other headline you would like to respond to? Go ahead, please.
The specific one that you mentioned about Beta Edu, NSCI.
Government being silent.
Yes, being slow. It's
Okay.
more like it. Whether it's silent, whether it's slow. The point is that justice is not being seen to be done, and governance is wobbling and fumbling around it. Like we always say, most perception is better than reality. I am aware government is talking about due process. I don't have a problem that EFCC has to get to the bottom of what? Is it a bottomless pit? Is it a paddy kind of thing? My advice is to say that we should have, by the day before yesterday, drawn the curtain. What is clearly in my mind established corruption should be done with.
Is there a possibility that this would not have any final end? Very visible final end.
If it is bottomless pit, if it is paddy. And that is this perception, David, and that's the point I am making. It could be that the government and EFCC wants to make sure that they are doubly sure. Don't forget in times past, when we had big ticket corruption cases like this, as at the time they are presented in court, the EFCC has lost more times than not. But honestly speaking, it does not help this government, it does not help Nigeria, it does not show the capacity that we are able to get something and nip it in the bud. Why must we wait 4 years? Why must we wait a whole year before we begin to see the end game? I'm happy that government took that decision to suspend. I hope it's still suspension or relief of Beta Edu's duties. I just feel that we should, within the time frame of this present government, begin to now show a different page in a different chapter of getting the needed trust fairly, equitably, and making sure that whoever is innocent continues to remain innocent. Whoever is glaringly culpable is given the bitter end of the stick. It should have been done yesterday.
What do you make of the 59 doctors that resigned in Nasarawa alleging poor welfare? 59 doctors.
Yeah.
And we also have, a lot of other doctors leaving the country in the court of Japa seeking for greener pastures. Why does it leave Nasarawa State to start with?
What I make of it is the fact that the center is not holding. 2 months ago, it was close to about 100. So let's stay with doctors. The nurses are also jackpying. The educationists are also jackpying. I'm talking of the lecturers are jackpying. The only set of people I haven't seen jackpot will be the politicians. And because it is great here, just listen to this, Fina. I will say this and I keep quiet. The politicians are not jackpying. The religious leaders are not jackpying. And some of the elites, what I call complicit elites, who have fed fat from a public and civil service structure are not jackpying. Put all that together, they represent just a minuscule 5% of the total. They are sitting on the wealth of this country. They are corrupting it as much as you can. So my feel about the latest jackpot that we have in the horizon still tells you that things are still not as we expect to see yesterday, not expect to see today. I'm very hopeful that by tomorrow, these things hopefully will turn around and Nigerian brains and the brain then will jackpada. That's
Japada.
and then come back
We do
to
hope
this
for
country.
better days tomorrow.
All right, let's dive into another papers almost immediately. We're going to be staying with the Daily Independence, where the banner headline here reads, "New CBN interest rate will put real sector under pressure." Now, this is coming from analysts. And then there's a major pictorial there of the former vice president's wife and some female delegates, FCT Women Affairs Secretary, alongside Mrs. Dolakbo Oshibajo. That picture there you can also see clearly on your screen. All right, above the nameplate there, the headline here reads, "Serap threatens NCC with lawsuit for blocking Nigerians' phone lines." Another headline here reads, "Presidency denies claims of operating two versions of 2024 budget." The writer there says, "Budget not anti-North. Debunks allegation of 3 trillion naira padding, I beg your pardon." Well, that's our major talking point today, so we'll not maybe at this point be talking about it. Another headline here reads, beneath the pictorial there, "Security operatives kill 20 IPOB fighters in Igbo gun battle, recover assorted weapons." Also, you find there, fire guts Kano electricity transmission station markets in Yenegua. Another headline here reads, "Vandals plunge FCT residents into darkness again." And then you find on page 6, right there, just also another headline right here in front of the Daily Independent. 2024 Ramadan fasting begins today. Another headline here is Ayoku eminent leaders of thoughts to convene national dialogue. And then another major headline here is governors adopt fresh strategies to end food crisis, economic hardship. And then more like what's the final headline here on adoption, I beg your pardon, "It's time to act fast," says Rep Speaker. Interesting headlines you find here right at the front page of the Daily Independent. Now, Mr. Aki, at this point, it's quite a lot to want to chew, but I want to ask what your opinion would be on this Serap threatening NCC to with lawsuit now for blocking Nigerians' phone lines.
Human fundamental rights should be enforceable, and I don't think we can continually just stretch and try the courts for obvious time lag. Now, okay, so let me situate it properly. I do not feel that disenfranchising subscribers the way it has gone is going to even help the telcos themselves. But I'm also aware that we need some measure of discipline because if you are talking about security, talking about terrorism, talking about vandalism, you just reeled all those out. They have a linkage to telecommunication and communication between the good, the bad, and the ugly in our sight. If adequate notice has been given, one, and two, if the enabling environment has been provided such that people don't rush and gush out to go and put their, their telephone numbers right in a way that will not inconvenience. And three, if some customers, okay, people have actually gone and have synced their NIN to their numbers and and I don't know, aligning the BVNs, and the thing has not worked, the grass should not suffer such inefficiency. So therefore, I will stay in between to now then say, yes, Nigerians have always been known, would want to do last minute and all that. We should deregulate, decentralize, the process of wanting to make sure if you don't have a name, if you don't have you can easily get one, you have a telephone, and we can then maybe extend for a little while. I can understand why NCC decided then to say that they are not going to extend. It's been on for a little while. And so without necessarily prejudging what Serap wants to try and achieve here, I'm also aware that lawsuits have been raised in this and similar over time. I hardly see the end game. So let's do some suasion. Let's, like the prodigal child, take a decision, look at it again. Because like I said, the telcos are likely to lose some revenue. Government
they have already.
Is likely to lose some revenues by way of taxes that should come. Yeah. And then inconvenience to good people. Inconvenience to good people.
As against the target of the bad people.
So let's see how it pans out. But
all right,
a message to all of us, Moses, you inclusive, me, Fina, and David. Let's try our best, despite the challenges and the odds, to be timely when they ask us to do something. One,
yes,
two.
Yes, I totally agree.
Two, so if we are timely, and I know Moses is relatively timely, and he can prove to you when he went to link his own, David and Fina, if we are doing that and we are having challenges, do you understand what I'm trying to say? We should begin to shout out as much as possible to preempt a thing like this. A large swathe of student bodies are not yet in. Okay, large swathes are not in. Government, do something about it. If you don't do something about it, in order that once we see something, we say something, we begin to shout and put their feet to fire, so that they don't just meet us at the roundabout and cut us off.
I think this ideology of last-minute rush is something that is affecting a lot of Nigerians. We wait till the last minute when they say, "Oh, there's a deadline," and then everybody runs to
and they start hearing
their telcos, runs to the
and the assumption is that they are going to extend.
They will extend. We're just that kind of people.
Very peculiar people.
They will extend it. Oh well, let's get into another paper quickly.
On the Punch newspaper today, the banner headline reads, "School in 14 states, FCT risks attack, says FG." The rider, Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Katsina, FCT, others affected. 465 pupils, women kidnapped in kidnappers' den. FG receiving U.S. support to free victims. Presidency alleged sub-regional forces behind kidnapping. Okay, and above the nameplate, Tinubu launches student loan Thursday. Foreign scholars seeks inclusion. Only foreign borrowing can save Naira, clears CBN debts. And this is coming from EIU. Naira devaluation fueling massive regional export, governors. Okay, and we have a major pictorial, and that one is about the Muslim brothers citing the moon for the Ramadan. Okay, in Saudi Arabia, even in Jerusalem and in Egypt. And there's a writer that says that Ramadan begins today. Sultan seeks prayers against insecurity and hardship. Oil earning rise by 450 billion naira in 2 months. FG. Ogun police nab 3 for murder attempt. Blackout worsen as hoodlums vandalize transmission lines. And those are the headlines we have in the Punch newspaper today. Mr. Akin Fatunke, which of the stories do you want to react to this morning?
Clearly the economic aspects.
Okay.
Economic Intelligence Unit is talking about way out to help the Naira and to help the economy will be to go get loans. I'm not too sure. I will say that if those loans would lead us into the Paris Club kind of situation, no, I'm not for it. I would rather say the concessionary loans, the types that Dr. Akinwumi Adesina has been prescribing and helping to help us tide. Concessionary loans are loans that are taken at relatively very low interest rates. It's like trying to give you a grant. See that you have a challenge, you have a social security problem, you have a budget problem. Can we help you to help you tide over? You have monetary physical problem as Nigeria is having right now. Can we help you to tide over to see how you can balance? So my take will be for the commercial loan, Eurobond concession, property concession, or the bank loans and Eurobonds also concession. It is easy, it is fairer. Yes, the other side of it is you may begin to take easy loans and then apply it to your gifting goods or stealing here and there. So we need to tighten controls in there. The economy next to security, in my opinion, is something we should look at and look at, federalism. The Punch came out with the Punch that we talked about earlier, Moses. How do you read the first headline you brought in about how many states? 14 states?
Schools in 14 states, including FCC risk attacks.
So what are we talking
risk
about?
attacks.
Yeah, so that is in North Central or Abuja. You think it's not happening in Southwest? You think it's not happening in Southeast? You think it's not happening in South-South? You think it's not happening in Northwest or Northeast? The point is that Nigeria continually hosts very unsafe, demonstrate very unsafe environment, and we are breeding monsters. We are breeding 14-year-old, like Moses said, looking at some of those ages, who are asking themselves, why did I come to this kind of space? And if you now add that to out-of-school children, we are not controlling our population adequately. Education is down, JAPA is up, medical is down, electoral reform system is wobbling and wobbling. Then it tells you, if this was a limited liability company, that limited liability company is going bankrupt. And in Nigeria's case, move away from bankruptcy to group upsy.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Akin Fatunke, for your views there. We'll be going into our major talking points right now. We'd like you to come with us.
Okay, and the presidency denies Nengi's accusation of budget pardon, describes claim as false. Details and more when we return after this break. Don't go anywhere.